They wanted you to do this role and that. She was a pop singer. Well, that was exciting. That was a big dream of mine, and I always wanted to kind of explore that part of myself. 'Cause I knew I could sing, carry a tune. But so I was really excited. That was a big attraction to the movie. After Back to the Future made Lea Thompson a household name, she thought Hollywood was hers. Then came Howard the Duck in 1986. What should have been a fun movie turned into a career-ending nightmare. The film bombed so hard that two studio executives got into a fist fight over who was responsible. But the real horror happened behind the scenes. Thompson recently revealed details that make the public disaster look tame. There were technical failures, disturbing scenes, and personal trauma that haunted her for decades. What she's finally sharing about those 6 months of filming will shock you. Lea Thompson was born on May 31, 1961 in Rochester, Minnesota, as the youngest of 5 children. Her family didn't live in a cozy home or even a regular apartment. They all stayed together in a single room at the Starlight Motel. Her father, Cliff, worked different jobs to keep them afloat, and her mother, Barbara, was a musician. Still, no matter how hard they tried, money stayed tight. Things only started to look up when her father found more stable work in Minneapolis, and the family finally moved out of that cramped motel room. That tiny space filled with dreams and struggles would shape Lea in ways even she couldn't understand at the time. But just when things started feeling a bit more stable, everything fell apart again. When Lea was 6, her parents divorced. Barbara was left to raise 5 kids on her own while battling alcohol addiction. It was a painful time. She wasn't always present or reliable. The house could have collapsed under the weight of it all. But Barbara fought back. She gave up drinking and started playing piano and singing in bars just to earn enough to feed her children. That move was risky, especially with young Lea watching from the sidelines. By the time Lea was 7, Barbara remarried and things calmed down a little. But those early memories never left her. They gave her strength and a kind of quiet maturity most kids never had to carry. Even with all the chaos around her, Lea found one thing she could focus on: ballet. From the very beginning, she trained like her life depended on it. She danced for hours every day, and her first role was a tiny mouse in the Nutcracker. Before she even turned 14, she had already performed in 45 different ballets. She danced with companies like the Minnesota Dance Theater, the Pennsylvania Ballet, and the Ballet Repertory. That kind of dedication is rare in any child. She earned scholarships to top institutions, including the American Ballet Theater and the San Francisco Ballet. By the age of 20, she was dancing professionally with the American Ballet Theatre Studio Company. But behind the curtain, that schedule was slowly breaking her body and spirit. Then came the moment that shattered everything. She stood in front of Mikhail Baryshnikov, the most legendary dancer of the time, during an audition, and he looked at her and said, "You're a lovely dancer, but you're too stocky." That was it. Her dream, the thing she had chased for most of her life, ended in a sentence. Lea said it felt like an epiphany. It was painful but also freeing. She realized she could keep hurting herself for 10 more years, or she could walk away. She chose to let go. Her brother Andrew kept dancing and built a career in ballet, which made her decision even more bittersweet. But this heartbreak is what pushed her into acting. When she moved to New York, she didn't step into stardom right away. She paid her rent with fast food commercials. Burger King cast her again and again, 22 times. In fact, she even appeared alongside Sarah Michelle Gellar and Elizabeth Shue, who would later play Jennifer in Back to the Future. Lea also did Twix commercials. These small roles kept her going. They gave her experience, confidence, and money to survive while she auditioned for films. Decades later, images from those ads still pop up on retro nostalgia pages, showing just how memorable her presence was even then. In 1982, something unusual happened. Lea got cast in Mystery Disc, Murder Anyone? An experimental interactive video game. Was ahead of its time, blending storytelling with early gaming tech. This was her very first on-screen role. Then in 1983, she made her film debut in Jaws 3D. She played a character who had to swim and water ski, two things she couldn't do when she got the part, so she learned quickly on set. That same year she met Dennis Quaid during filming. He became her fiancé and one of her biggest supporters as she figured out how to act in front of a camera. But it was all the right moves. In 1983 that changed everything. She starred opposite Tom Cruise playing a teenage girl stuck in a dying town. The director nearly fired her for her early performance. The pressure was intense. She had even gone undercover in a real high school in Johnstown, Pennsylvania to prepare for the role. Only the principal knew her identity. Everyone else thought she was just another transfer student. That level of dedication helped her truly understand the character, and her chemistry with Cruise was so believable that critics took notice. Universal Studios did too. By 1984, she was stepping into action films like Red Dawn. She wasn't just playing a romantic lead anymore. She was firing rifles and riding horses in freezing weather. The shoot was so brutal that Patrick Seas got frostbite and couldn't feel his hands or feet afterward. One cast member joked about spooning Charlie Sheen just to stay warm. These were real conditions, and she powered through them. That same year she played a small-town girl in The Wildlife with Eric Stoltz, building more momentum with every project. Then came one of Hollywood's most unexpected casting disasters. Back to the Future had already started filming when the director realized Eric Stoltz just wasn't right for the role of Marty McFly. Lea had worked with him before and was close to him, so when he got fired and replaced by Michael J. Fox, she didn't take it well at first. She had to refilm all her scenes, including the dinner and the school hallway. The reshoots added around $4 million to the budget, but despite the chaos, the film went on to become the biggest hit of 1985, earning $210.6 million in the U.S. and over $381 million worldwide. Stayed at number 1 for 11 out of 12 weeks. Only 2 blockbusters defined that year: Back to the Future and Rambo: First Blood Part 2. Lea's role as Lorraine Baines made her a household name, but it wasn't easy. Some conservative groups attacked her character's flirtatious behavior. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, she spent over 3 hours a day in makeup to play the older version of Lorraine, and that wasn't even the most complex part. In Back to the Future Part 2, she played 4 versions of Lorraine, one as a teenager, one as a senior, and 2 versions in between. Then in Part 3, she played Maggie McFly, Marty's great-great-grandmother. That kind of transformation with all the prosthetics and character shifts was something few actors ever had to tackle at the time. She pulled it off so well that it became a blueprint for future time travel films. After Back to the Future made her a star, Lea Thompson thought she was on top of the world. Hollywood was at her feet.